Yo, what's up everybody? Holding Ice with you here, bringing you Fire Force anime review. This is episode 5, titled The Battle Begins. This was a very intense episode. It begins with everybody kind of training in the beginning, because supposedly they're going to invade the 5th territory and find out information and get more data from them. Because supposedly the reason how hibana, how she became captain at a young age is because she basically had been doing a lot of black market type of deals, and she knows a lot of different information on Infernos and stuff like that, and people have been buying her information, and because of that power and that pull, they picked her to be the captain's the captain for the 5th district of the Fire Force. So Captain Obi and Hibana, his lieutenant, have planned out the attack, but right now they're just training. And we see everybody training. We have Shinra training with Hibani, and then we have Arthur. He's training with Mika. So that's pretty cool. And we have Iris in the back. And Iris in this episode, we get to see like a little flashback of hers. She's like a little girl and she's running through like some meadows, and then she sees like flowers made of fire. And she goes to touch them, but somebody behind her stops. And then in another flashback, we actually see a young version of Hibana, and she's there, and she looked like she was friends with Iris as a kid. But then when you look at them now, you see how they looked at each other last episode. It's kind of weird. It's like they had this friction between each other. But we do know Iris has a picture that's burnt, and the picture is the picture they took that day. So maybe something happened that day or at that moment when that picture was taken. We don't know yet, but their backstory has been like kind of concealed from us. Another thing, when Iris was praying, if you look at the pictures in front of her in that church, you see like different saints, but beneath the saints are people burned to ashes. So I wonder what this picture represents. If each of those saints is that picture that they under them of a burning person, is that them themselves, or is that someone they fighting? Maybe the Holy Church, are they under the Fire Force? Maybe they're the opposite faction, and that's what they're real enemies. And maybe they're the ones creating their Infernos. Not really sure yet on that part. But Iris leaves the church to go to confront Hibana and asks her why she's doing all these dealings and that she needs to stop. And Hibana gets mad because she's wearing the nun outfit. And she's like, how dare you wear that ugly attire in front of me? And she burns her. You know, her clothes are kind of off, and which hurts her in the process, and then she ends up grabbing her by her throat, choking her, and she's like, don't you ever wear that pathetic costume in front of me. God does not exist, and that's just that mere puppet that you people are bringing up. The only thing that really is existent in this world are devils and humans. Beyond that, there's nothing but ash. And as she's saying this, the whole 5th Brigade is actually getting raided by Shinra and his people. And as they raid in, they splits off into different groups. Shinra blasts off ahead, he's by himself. Arthur's trying to follow up to him. And then we have Mika and Hinawa, they together. And they actually fight that one dude who was talking smack last week with the blonde hair. And we found out that his power is that he's a 2nd generation as well as them, and basically what he does is that he blows bubblegum, but his bubblegum is not made of like regular bubblegum. It has like a special material where after he blows into it and it eventually pops the bubble, it releases like this weird gas and he makes it explode. So basically all his bubbles are actually bombs, and he starts throwing them slowly at, the enemies. Unfortunately, as powerful as his bombs are, they slow, and they were able to find his direction. And we actually get to find out Hinawa, that he fights is pretty awesome. Basically how he fights is that he has a whole bunch of guns and he shoots. But since gun has heat because of the gunpowder and the force, he can use his 2nd generation powers to manipulate the bullets. So he can manipulate its speed, its power, its terrain, how much damage it does. He can do a lot, and it was super impressive. And he shot a whole bunch of bullets his way, and they all hit him. But he shot them at a point where they will all hit him on the mark, but they wouldn't like put any holes in him and really pierce him and leave him to death. He just knocked them out And we also saw Hinawa knocked out a whole bunch of guys from the 5th with his gun style arts. So, best gunner of 2019. Definitely go to not Captain, but Lieutenant Hinawa. Really, really powerful. Of course, we got best girl Mika going in, laying hands on everybody. And there eventually, after fighting him, has to fight the 5th Angels, which is a whole bunch of females of the 5th Brigade. That's what they call the females, the 5th Angels. There's just one group of a whole bunch of females that are fighters, but they get taken out off screen by them pretty easily. And when this is going on, we get Arthur's fight. Arthur's fight is very impressive, because Arthur's fight is against the Inferno that they captured the 5th Brigade last episode. But the thing is, the captain had killed him in an experiment, and this old guy with a chrome head basically used some type of drugs on the corpse to bring him back, but stronger and under his control. And he's using him to fight Arthur. And Arthur, like, the battle is one-sided and he's losing. He's getting slapped around and blowed up and all that stuff. And Arthur can't figure out why is he losing. And the old man's making fun of him. He's like, oh, you just a kid. Kids like you always have to find an excuse when they losing at something. And they have to blame the adults. You need to grow up, stuff like that. And then, Arthur's such an idiot. It finally dawns on him why Arthur's power is so weakened, and why his attack are not going through as much power and speed as they usually are. And the reason for it is that Arthur's fighting with the wrong hand. Instead of fighting with his right hand, one-handed like he usually is, he's fighting with the left. So the instant he switched the blade over to his right hand, he one-shotted the Inferno. And the old man got super, super shook. And it was just funny seeing how stupid Arthur is, but at the same time he's powerful. So that's kind of cool. But then the episode ends with, like, Shinra in front of this mansion, which we have to assume that's where Iris is at, being captured by Hinaba, who wants to use Iris to, bait the 8th, but by her surprise, they already came even before that. So it was kind of cool seeing a battle between them. So far, nobody in the 5th seems to be any good. Other than their captain, really, nobody else seems to be a problem. The 8th Brigade is just running through it so quickly. I'm not sure if that just shows how powerful they are, or that just shows how weak the 5th is, but the captain is still up and running, so we don't know what she has in her sleeve, and we don't know how powerful she is. But she was able to knock out Shinra not knock him out, but put him down on his knees last episode just by looking at him. And we see that she has like those crazy eyes that look like a pink rainy gown with a flower in the middle. So can't wait to see more of her and how she fights. And most likely she's going to be the one to fight Shinra. Even though Captain Obi, it was stated in this episode that he's nowhere in sight. So he could be hiding and infiltrating in the episode. We don't really know. We're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, this was a pretty lit episode, pun intended. And some good stuff. I would like to know more about the church and their role in this society, and what really put the hatred in Iris for the people of the church, and what happened back then between her and Hanabi and the church and Iris. Like, what happened back then, and why does she has a burnt picture instead of a picture in good condition. The Inferno attack, or Inferno's attack, and maybe that's why Hinaba decided to decorate her life on collecting Infernos and data on them. She did say that she has a whole bunch of data that she's not going to allow nobody, especially the 8th, to get their hands on. So if they do win and get that data, this can dramatically change the story and the output. Very, very dramatically, depending on what type of data she has collected so far. So, because she is known for collecting so much data. She's like the knowledgeable person of Infernos. So, that's going to be interesting to see. But that's all I have for you guys. Tell me what you like and didn't like about the episode. How do you feel about Fire Force so far? I'm loving it. Anime opening and ending and song and the music and the voices and the background. All that is A++. Like, I'm really wanting to give this series an S rank, series, but it's still young. It's only 5 episodes in, so we're going to have to wait and see how this season plays out. But so far, so good. It's been just beautiful, straight flame, straight. Everything has just been top notch. I wouldn't be surprised if with Crunchyroll, this, or Dr. Stone, or Vinland Saga, I'm expecting those 3 to get a lot of awards. Maybe not Vinland Saga, because the only way to watch that anime is on Amazon Prime, but most likely Dr. Stone and Fire Force is going to get a lot of attention on Crunchyroll when they do that 1 year you know, anime reward thing. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But that's all I have for you. Peace out and have a good one.